also by introducing a Korean word, Han, because of your very important notice that the recognition of human suffering needs to happen before any reconciliation, any peace, any understanding of history, any of these terms can happen in the Korean word Han, whether it's angst, furor, anger, pain, pathos, beat your breast, cry. This is how you protest on the street, this is how you cry at home. But that the source of this suffering has yet to either acknowledge the suffering honestly, openly, remains a problem. There's this first half of the 20th century and the second half. And when discussing the United States in the problem, yes, the United States has certainly been part of Northeast Asia for this block of time. There is still a Japanese history that is Japan's history of empire, and more important, Korea's history of Korean colonization. So you have to recognize that there is this American umbrella across the 20th century, but it remains possible to study the colonial eras up to 1945 without America as the center actor. I personally don't believe it is possible after 1945 precisely because of how the war and empire ended. But even before the war ended, the United States, as is well known, divided Korea. It wasn't the Korean War, it was two American military men who become famous in a later war, in a basement room in Washington, D.C. on August 9th or 10th. It was midnight, 1945. What are we going to do with Korea? They draw a line and create the 38th parallel. And then we come to Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which generates even greater difficulties because raising the issue of who's the victim, who's the aggressor, for most of the 1945 to 1989 period within Japan, since it was almost impossible, really, to discuss Japan's actions on the mainland of China and Asia as the aggressor, it was much easier to tell the story of Japan as at war as the victim of the atomic bomb. I am not an expert on North Korea, and I don't believe there is an American who is an expert on North Korea because we're simply not allowed to go. North Korea today is a crisis. It's a humanitarian crisis. It is a security crisis. It must be addressed peacefully and in terms of engagement. Otherwise, we really are talking about something none of us really would like to describe. America is also at the heart of this problem, and that the United States, in its dealings with North Korea, I think fairly consistently between 2002 and 2008, if not 9, if not now, refused to understand why the heart of North Korean antipathy to the United States is a consistent similarity with the United States' official lack of understanding of this region. That most Americans don't know that North Korea is still fighting a war against the United States. Again, these are maybe just little legal details, but it matters if you're North Korean, clearly. I think the consistent hammering away at North Korea through the sanctions model it's only proven a consistent failure. And perhaps I'd like to hope that at the moment, the San Diego dialogue hopefully might be a little softer in approach than what was a rather shocking reversal to, I thought, the early days of 2002. 2009, when Obama came into office, I think it's fair to say that many assumed there'd be a very big shift in particularly North Korea policy, and that Secretary of State Clinton made clear that there would not be. President Obama is coming to the region in 2 weeks. I personally think nothing is going to happen with the title of this conference unless President Obama goes to Hiroshima. I started writing Obama to Hiroshima editorials last January, but at the time I thought, okay, second term. He'll get 2 terms if he plays this card right, and he should not go in the first term because this is the core of American 20th century mythology and why we're good. He'll get assassinated if he goes. But then he went and made the speech in Prague about nuclear-free world, and he went and won the Nobel Peace Prize. So I think he needs to take some responsibility for creating a nuclear-free world, and then I think we have a chance of getting Pyongyang to believe believe some of our statements, and then we have some credibility, taking responsibility for creating a lot of the inability to make peace with history.